Good morning, everybody. We are live here in Highland Park in the 4 o'clock hour, 4 a.m., and we are joined now by the police chief, James McMahon, and also our reporting partners, Jeremy Allen. You are back with us. We're talking crime, and I feel like this is an important subject to mention because I think there's a stereotype out there. And, you know, Detroit's battled it many a time in terms of the crime that they deal with, or the city deals with, but a lot of times they get some positive lights because they have positive stories. And I would say partly because the media. Sometimes we focus on negative, not always on positive, especially for Highland Park. How is that in terms of being the chief, and what is the stereotype that you're dealing with? And like Jeremy was talking about earlier, what's reality?
Well, first let me say thanks for doing a positive story, because like you said, a lot of media outlets are not doing positive story in Highland Park, and so I think the perception is Highland Park's a dangerous city. Highland Park is a poor community, and that they're really not going anywhere is kind of what I hear feedback, but that couldn't be further from the truth. The community is a safe community. Do we have crime? Just like every other city we do, but we're combating that, and we're working hard to do that. People walk the streets, kids are playing in their front yards, kids play on the playground. You can walk to some of these businesses that are opening up and enjoy yourself just like any other downtown community. And crime is rare, a lot rarer than people think. And so I really think the perception is nowhere near reality.
Chief, you talked about combating crime, and you guys are doing that through community policing efforts as well as technology upgrades. Can you talk a little bit about how both of those things have helped impact and reduce crime here in Highland Park?
Yeah, of course. So community policing, we're doing everything we can to host events, community events, to where people, we have one-on-one sessions, or we'll have parties for the kids, things like that. So just so people feel comfortable talking to us, and they understand that a police officer is a human being just like anybody else. We're coming to do a job, but we can also sit down and have conversations, and so a lot of times through those events, people will express to us what their concerns are, and some of the things that they're going through or they'd like to see, and we take those seriously, and we try and implement those. And part of technology, right now we probably have some of the best technology in the state. We've been fortunate enough to secure contracts with different vendors, and so we have some of the best body cameras available. We can monitor them live. We typically review those body cameras for compliance issues to make sure that officers are doing what they're supposed to do, and if they're not, we address that. We have cameras installed in our vehicles. We have license plate readers all throughout the city. We have a lot of technology in this city. We have mobile cameras that we set up in hotspots to try and combat some of the dumping and things like that. So we utilize those more as target enforcement.
Let's talk a little bit about statistics. I'll give you a little time to brag because I know things have improved. Talk about that, and also what's your big challenge? Let's start with the positives in terms of some of the crime stats.
Okay, so I'm proud to say that our crime stats, we have a reduction in violent crime of 42% since about the last year and a half. So that that for us, that's something to be proud of. The officers, the men and women, are working very hard. They're trying to get away from more reactive response to more of a proactive policing. So we're out here trying to address any concerns that the citizens are having. So it looks like it's working.
What would be your challenge in terms of what are you still working on trying to fix, improve?
Well,
always can be better.
I mean, our biggest challenge is manpower, and we're not alone. And I think nationally, agencies are struggling to fill their roster. Recently, I know our patrol were able to secure a contract through the bargaining agreement to where they got a salary increase and some benefits, and so that has made us more competitive. And hopefully we can start recruiting and ultimately retain the officers that we have. So.
What's it going to take for the force to be back up to full strength in terms of number of people you're looking to bring onto the force?
Well, I don't usually. I won't give numbers of who we have or who we don't have, just because I don't know that that's safe for the community. However, I can tell you we are down probably 40% from where we want, and that's civilian positions as well as certified officer positions. So
You spent time obviously on the streets working up your ranks. What would you say, as a police officer, what did you learn, or what was that tidbit that you're like, now I'm the chief, and this is really helping me, whether it's a perspective, whether it's a certain experience. But I always like to see, like, from back in the day, what's helping you become a better chief?
I think has worked, at least in my career, is really just treating everyone with respect. From a guy who screwed up and did something wrong to a normal guy who's just getting a traffic ticket. Treat everyone with respect, and I've noticed that a lot of times it just works out in your favor. Even when someone's wrong, a lot of times you just say, hey, you know what, I screwed up, I apologize, and we move on. So I try to take that mindset as being a chief and try and instill that in the officers. Like, just relax. Let people make mistakes. We can deal with that, and we can move on. So it seems to be successful. We have a lot of great officers. I really am proud of our department. I think it's an honor and a privilege to be the chief here. Although, like I said, there's perception out there that may say otherwise. And I would argue with them any day, that's not the case here. There's a lot of good stuff that's happened, and there's a lot more good things to come. So
I appreciate your time.
Oh, thank you.
Getting up at 4 a.m.
Yeah, well.
Did I tell you that I said to him, I said, Chief, when do you want to talk to me? Midnight or 4 a.m.? You didn't even blink an eye. I didn't give you a very good choices, did I?
Austin's worked the best, that's for sure.
I was like, are you a night guy or a morning guy? You are a good sport. Because a lot of people would be like, guess what? I'm going to meet you at a different time. But I thought it was important to talk about, I don't want to, stereotype crime, but a lot of things happen in the middle of the night, and a lot of times people get worried if they're driving through or doing something. So I thought it was, important to meet you. So.
No, I appreciate it very much. But I know you guys have been working all day and all night too, so I appreciate it. I think it's it's nice to hear positive stories. So I'll get up at any time for a positive story for the city for sure.
Sounds good.
So.
Well, we appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you.